As if being the director of some of the industry's most applauded films just wasn't enough, Martin Scorsese is back in his new role as man who likes to get people riled up on the internet. After making the claim last year that superhero movies weren't actual cinema, Scorsese's back at it, and this time he's got his sights set on algorithms in streaming services, which he claims devalue cinema. And while I don't completely agree with his sentiment that the current state of cinema is completely tragic, there is some truth to what he's saying. But before I dive into exactly what I mean by that, I just want to say thank you as always for coming to my channel. It's been quite some time since I uploaded a video. In the midst of a pandemic, it's hard not to let that kind of control your life a little bit, but I'm back now and hopefully can keep up a regular content schedule. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Your support is always welcome. And with that out of the way, let's dive in. As a bit of context for what I'm talking about today, Martin Scorsese recently wrote an opinion piece for Harper's, the link to which I'll include in the description below, and it's all about his appreciation for Federico Fellini as both a filmmaker and for the work that he produced. It's a genuinely good read that's just dripping in nostalgia for cinema of the 1960s, and reading it, I almost felt sad that I didn't get a chance to experience films like La Dolce Vita and 8½, when they were brand new. As Scorsese himself notes, this was a time in which the very purpose of cinema was being questioned, and so there was a huge amount of experimentation happening on screen. Flash forward to today, however, when the process of making movies has largely been engulfed by the studio system, and it's not hard to see why someone like Scorsese might be a bit fed up with the way things have turned out. While I love superhero movies, and I mean love them, they don't operate in the same way that, say, avant-garde cinema of the 1960s did. But I do agree with Scorsese that algorithms on streaming services has largely ruined that sense of exploration that used to just happen by simply walking into a cinema and seeing what was on. Of course, with cinemas being shut for so long, we've had to turn to streaming services as a means of, well, entertainment and staying connected with the world at large. The problem here is that services like Netflix aren't completely concerned with the type of content you're watching, it's about the amount of time you're spending watching the content that's on offer. As soon as you latch on to a particular type of content, Netflix will ply you with recommendations of similar films and TV shows to ensure that you stay logged in on their service and you don't go looking for content elsewhere. And this is a shame, because there are plenty of jaw-dropping movies still being made. You just have to take the initiative to go out and find them on your own. Netflix only has a small handful of indie movies on its platform, and even then they're constantly being buried under the weight of the ever-expanding Netflix Originals library. And heck, I'm as guilty as anyone for just wanting to dive into some fluffy, lightweight stuff at the end of a hard-working day, but it is rewarding every now and then to take a chance on a film and get something completely unique in return. As Scorsese himself notes, platforms like Mubi and the BFI player offer curated libraries of content where you know that a human being has taken great care in deciding which films get added and why. And as the future of cinema itself is up in the air, these curated services could be the next best thing to keep that sense of daring going that really only happens when you have filmmakers thinking outside of the studio system. Netflix has its worth, but it shouldn't be the be-all and end-all where streaming is concerned. And I hope that the growing streaming wars between the likes of Netflix, HBO and Disney don't eradicate these smaller, more personalized services in the process. They offer a huge amount of value and are considerable resources as an insight into the history of cinema itself. But I'm eager to know how you feel about Scorsese's op-ed and the ideas that it discusses. Are you happy with what Netflix has to offer, or are you starting to feel that the service's algorithms are starting to stifle your access to great cinema? However you feel on the topic, please let me know in the comments below.